Here's what's happening this week in Conservative Canada. Coverup. What did Justin Trudeau know about dirty election money from communists in Beijing? Pierre Poilievre asked Trudeau 30 questions.
Leader of the opposition.
Yes or no?
Trudeau doesn't answer any of them.
Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, we well know that issues of national security can be highly challenging to discuss as parliamentarians in the open floor of the House of Commons, which is why...
Steeltown. More than 1,000 people show up in Hammer for Pierre Poilievre's latest rally.
We need to remind our young people that there is prestige and there is honor in swinging a hammer, in framing a house, in building a foundation, in plumbing a building, in running electricity. I'm going to give every bit as much support to the building trades as that we give to the professions, because we need people to build those millions of affordable houses.
Alberta says no to the Trudeau Liberal gun grab. Attorney General Tyler Shandro tables a new Firearms Act in the legislature.
A provincial Firearms Act gives us the tools that we need to stand up for the rights of Albertans who are firearms owners and to protect our unique heritage.
Doug Ford's Ontario Conservatives open a fast track into skilled trades for high school students starting in grade 11.
And today, we're pleased to announce our government will soon be making changes that will allow students starting in grade 11 to transition to a full-time skilled trades apprenticeship program while still earning a high school diploma. This new initiative will help more students enter the skilled trades faster.
On Prince Edward Island, Premier Dennis King says Islanders will go to the polls in a general election.
It may not come as a surprise to many of you, but earlier today I visited Her Honor the Lieutenant Governor, and I asked her to sign the writ of election. And Islanders will get to choose their government on April 3rd, 2023.
In Ottawa, British Columbia MP Ed Fass is leading a Conservative push to stop the Trudeau Liberals from expanding medical assistance in dying to people suffering from mental illness.
So let me be clear. There is no consensus across Canada that medically assisted suicide should be extended to the mentally ill. None.
Justin Trudeau had no answers after another report of illegal election campaign money from the communist regime in Beijing, this time from Sam Cooper of Global News. Global News reported that Beijing's consulate in Toronto moved $250,000 in illegal election campaign money to a network of candidates to help re-elect the Trudeau Liberals in 2019. The allegation was contained in a top-secret intelligence report prepared for Justin Trudeau over a year ago. The Prime Minister spent the first part of the week dodging questions. When he finally showed up for question period, Trudeau refused to give a straight answer to any of the 25 questions from Pierre Poilievre.
The Prime Minister said repeatedly that he had no knowledge of funds from the dictatorship in Beijing going to federal election candidates. Today we learned that is not true. His department prepared a briefing that said a large clandestine transfer of funds earmarked for the federal election from the PRC in Toronto was transferred to an elected provincial government official via a staff member of a 2019 federal candidate. Why did the Prime Minister say the opposite of what he knew to be true?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. The issue of foreign interference in our democracies and our institutions is extraordinarily serious, and that's why, as a government, we have always taken it incredibly seriously, including by building and creating new mechanisms to oversee and to ensure that we can counter that interference and demonstrate to Canadians that they can have confidence in their institutions. But on the specific question, as both myself and the NSIA stated last fall, we have no information on any federal candidates receiving money from China, and that continues to remain the case.
Justin Trudeau did not even show up in Parliament until Pierre Poilievre called him out the previous day.
Why won't the Prime Minister stand up today and answer a question? Why is he hiding? Why won't he stand in his seat? What is he hiding from Canadians that he stands behind this substandard minister? He's been hiding this for 10 years, Mr. Speaker. Whatever it is that he's hiding, it must be bad. It must be really bad. How bad is it?
The Liberal House leader had no explanation to offer for Trudeau skipping work.
Mr. Speaker, it is the height of irresponsibility when talking about national security. To talk about the fact that national security should just be set aside, that we should just to open up this as if it could be done. Mr. Speaker, it is not something that I think is being responsible. Responsible leadership is saying that every member of this House, every single member of this House is totally and utterly committed to protecting Canadian democracy. The assertion that anything else is true is offensive, untrue, and playing games with national security is not appropriate.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Well, if the Prime Minister really was interested in protecting national security, he wouldn't be hiding. He'd stand up right now and answer the question. Instead, he hides behind these two stooges who protect him.
When Justin Trudeau finally did show up, the non-answers just kept coming.
Global News reported 3 weeks before Canada's 2019 federal election, national security officials allegedly gave an urgent classified briefing to senior aides from the Prime Minister's office, warning them that one of their candidates was part of a, quote, Chinese foreign interference network, end quote. Can the Prime Minister tell us who that candidate was?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians well know that issues around national security are extremely important to be able to deal with, including to be able to be dealt with by elected officials and parliamentarians. This was a point of significant disagreement between the previous Harper government and our party in opposition, which is why we committed to creating a National Security and Intelligence Committee of Parliamentarians, where parliamentarians from all parties would receive top secret clearances and be allowed to dig into everything national security agencies are doing. And that's exactly what we have allowed for.
Leader of the Opposition.
Has CSIS warned the Prime Minister, his staff, his party, or anyone else that any member of his current caucus or cabinet may be part of a foreign interference network, yes or no?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, as all members in this House well know, our intelligence agencies and officials work very hard every single day to keep Canadians, including Canadians of all different backgrounds, including all parliamentarians, safe from the impacts of foreign interference. Their work is carefully scrutinized by a number of oversight bodies, including NCIRA and NSICOP, that allow parliamentarians and experts to ensure that CSIS and other intelligence agencies are doing everything necessary to keep Canadians and our institutions safe.
After another half hour or so of non-answers, Pierre Poilievre explained to Justin Trudeau what's really going on.
That's why we've created a committee where all parliamentarians from different parties can get top secret clearance and look into these matters deeply without compromising the safety of people who serve this country.
Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
He's not interested in protecting the safety of the people serving this country. He's interested in protecting the Liberal Party of Canada. The question was how much his party got in illegal donations funneled from Beijing. I've asked the question twice now. He refuses to answer it. He distracts and now claims that he can't tell it because it would harm national security. Give me a break. It would harm his political career. Why doesn't he tell us how much the Liberal Party or its various arms received in money from Beijing? How much?
Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, it is unfortunate and despicable that any member in this House would question the loyalty to Canada of any other member in this House. I understand very real concerns that Canadians feel about foreign interference, and that's why we've created mechanisms to keep Canadians safe. But to suggest that anyone in this House isn't devoted to serving Canadians and keeping those who serve Canada in dangerous positions safe is quite disgusting.
But when we've all seen this act from the Prime Minister before, and Pierre Poilievre was not buying it.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, no drama lesson will distract from the question that I asked. The question was very clear. How much did the Liberal Party get in donations directed from Beijing? I've asked it multiple times. I find it incredible that he can't stand up and answer with a zero. Totally. I mean, if he knows for sure it didn't happen, he's not been briefed to the contrary, he would say so right now. Yeah. But he's dodging the question. He's trying to engage in a dramatic distraction. So I will give him one more chance. Answer the question, how much money did his party get from the dictatorship in Beijing?
Canadians are still waiting for answers about illegal election money from Beijing. Pierre Poilievre was on the road this weekend speaking to 1,500 people at a rally outside Hamilton in Stoney Creek, Ontario. He says he's going to support young people who choose to go into the trades.
We're going to support the trades again in this country, right? That's fine. Look, I went to university. I like university. It's great. But we need people who can build stuff again, right? We need to remind our young people that there is prestige and there is honor in swinging a hammer, in framing a house, in building a foundation, in plumbing a building, in running electricity. I'm going to give every bit as much support to the building trades as that we give to the professions, because we need people to build those millions of affordable houses.
He called out the NDP politicians in Hamilton who oppose energy and Canadian pipeline projects.
We need to be a nation that stands on its own 2 feet. A nation that brings home its own energy production, its steel production. Yes. We need to provide for ourselves on our own land. We have the resources. Think about it. Right now we're bringing 130,000 barrels of overseas oil from dirty dictatorships every single day, even though we have the 3rd biggest supply of oil right here on planet Earth. And your local NDP member of parliament opposes pipelines that would be made with steel. Can you imagine a Hamilton member of parliament opposing steel for our pipelines? That's how backwards it has gotten, right? Instead, they all favor sending our jobs and our money abroad. A Poilievre government will repeal the anti-energy laws so that we can build Canadian pipelines to take Canadian energy to Canadian customers and generate Canadian jobs.
With the Trudeau Liberals pushing Bill C-21 through Parliament, that would confiscate legal firearms from law-abiding owners. Alberta's UCP government tabled its own firearms legislation. Alberta Attorney General Tyler Shandro says the bill is intended to protect the property rights of Albertans.
A provincial Firearms Act gives us the tools that we need to stand up for the rights of Albertans who are firearms owners and to protect our unique heritage.
The Attorney General's message to the Trudeau Liberals is clear. They need to stop about harassing law-abiding farmers, hunters, sport shooters, and collectors.
Every Albertan should be concerned about the precedent set by the federal intrusion into property rights of law-abiding and responsible Albertans. The activities of our law-abiding firearms community are essential to the economic vibrancy and the cultural heritage of this province. Firearms owners are hunters and those who lead a traditional way of life. They're sports shooters and collectors of firearms of Albertan and Canadian cultural and historical significance. There are more than 680 firearms-related businesses in Alberta and more than 127 approved shooting ranges. And these businesses and these individuals deserve clarity, they deserve accountability, and advocacy to protect their property rights. And that is what this legislation aims to do.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford announced that students in grade 11 will soon be able to enter full-time trades apprenticeship without turning their back on high school graduation.
And today, we're pleased to announce our government will soon be making changes that will allow students, starting in grade 11, to transition to a full-time skilled trades apprenticeship program while still earning a high school diploma. This new initiative will help more students enter the skilled trades faster. It will provide more young women and men opportunities for good-paying, in-demand jobs and rewarding careers. This new pathway will be a game changer for so many students and their families.
Education Minister Stephen Lecce said it's all about students getting good jobs.
We want every single student to have a pathway to a good job. That is our aspiration. It's the focus today on creating new and accelerated pathways to the skilled trades. It's about increasing the hands-on learning in the classroom with more co-op, more work placements, and greater opportunities to take apprenticeship in college credits while in high school. And this is exactly what students, what job creators, what parents have called on us to do in our government. And because a principal measurement of our success is how do we get students from the classroom into a good paying job.
Monty McNaughton, Labour and Skills Training Minister, spoke of the opportunities opening up for young Ontarians.
These careers in the skilled trades are fantastic opportunities waiting for our young people. The chance to make six figures with defined pensions and benefits, more than most of those who go to university. To travel or start your own business. To have a job for life and be damn proud of what you build.
Premier Ford says it's all about building.
This is a really, really big challenge for us right now, but it's also an amazing opportunity. So by 2026, 1 in 5 job openings in Ontario will be in the skilled trades. These are rewarding jobs as welders, as electricians, as child care workers, and the list just continues to go on. These are the jobs that will build Ontario because over the next decade, we're going to need thousands of new skilled construction workers to help build the infrastructure our growing population needs, including highways, transit, schools, hospitals, and of course, new homes. That's why our government is investing over $1.5 billion in our skilled trades strategy, working hand in hand with the labor unions, business groups, and our schools, colleges, and universities to train the skilled workforce our growing economy needs.
On Prince Edward Island Premier Dennis King says Islanders will go to the polls on this spring in a general election. The Premier told a large friendly crowd in Winslow that the big issue this year is leadership.
It may not come as a surprise to many of you, but earlier today I visited Her Honor the Lieutenant Governor, and I asked her to sign a writ of election. And Islanders will get to choose their government on April 3rd, 2023. The people of Prince Edward Island, all across this beautiful province, you deserve a government that has the courage and determination to take on the hard things and to do what is required to move this province forward. The others wouldn't, we did, and I make this promise to you here tonight that a PC government led by Dennis King will never be afraid to do the hard work because the people of this island not only demand it, they deserve it.
In Ottawa, Pierre Poilievre and Senator Denise Batters joined British Columbia MP Ed Fast in a bid to stop the Trudeau Liberals from expanding medical assistance in dying to people suffering from mental illness.
So let me be clear. There is no consensus across Canada that medically assisted suicide should be extended to the mentally ill. None. So those suffering from mental disorders, including depression, as the leader has mentioned, deserve the mental health and social supports and counseling they need to find some joy and some meaning in life. It is deeply concerning that this government appears to be inexorably moving from a culture of life to a culture of death.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre strongly supports Ed Fast's private member's bill. He is against medically assisted dying for people with mental illness.
Yet the government says that in less than a year, it will be providing medical assistance in dying to people whose only condition is depression or mental illness. Experts tell us that depression and mental illness can come and go, that people can be suffering and desperate today, but a few months later, be thankful that they still have their lives and their families. Our role should be to give them that hope, to help them get through the valley and back to the mountaintop. And that is why I'm pleased to support the private member's bill of Member of Parliament Ed Fast that would ensure that medical assistance dying is not the solution to people suffering with their mental health.
Conservative Senator Denise Batters shares her deeply personal story about her husband's mental illness.
My husband was former MP Dave Batters. Actually, Dave and our leader Pierre Poilievre were first elected together in 2004 and served together until 2008. Dave struggled with severe anxiety and depression and died by suicide in 2009, days shy of his 40th birthday. I witnessed firsthand that for someone who is mentally ill, there can be a tunnel vision that makes that person want to end his or her life, even when there are obvious viable options. I still wonder if there might have been another way out for Dave, another counselor, another medical treatment, another conversation that might have made the difference. Because of the finality of his choice, I will never know. Suicidality is often a symptom of mental illness, and expanding assisted suicide to those with mental illness will deliver to them the lethal means to end their lives. Some Canadians will die before they can access treatment that could relieve their suffering and give them years to live. Even one life lost unnecessarily is too many. Take it from someone who knows. Mental illness is not irremediable. There is always hope for someone to regain their health. That is why assisted suicide should not be extended for mental illness, and it's why my caucus colleague Ed Fast's bill is important. As a compassionate society, we must give those enduring psychological suffering help and hope, not an easier way to die. I have seen the major gaps in our mental health care system, but the answer is not to provide death as a certain and final option. The preservation of hope for people with mental illness is absolutely paramount. They need support, treatment, and our promise that we will never give up on them, even when they can see no other option but to give up on themselves. Thank you.
And that's it for this week. Make sure to like and subscribe to our page and sign up for our free email updates and stay in the know with what's happening in Conservative Canada.